both. So, Doug.
All right, cool. We're live. Hey, good morning, everyone, or afternoon now. Just wanted to pop in and kind of start the video off with a thank you to the people that have been watching and following as we've slacked off over the holidays. Life and family got in the way, but we do appreciate everybody that's liked us and shared us, and just it really means a lot to people watching our videos and checking out to see what we do. So I just wanted to start out the new year, new video with an appreciation for all y'all that have taken the time out of your day to watch us talk about Manchester United and the things we enjoy and get frustrated with about it. And for any of you that haven't popped in yet, and this is going to be your first video, I'm Doug. That's my friend Walter. We've been knowing each other for over a decade now, talking Manchester United. So we decided we should put out a little video for fun and get some interaction on the online community of anybody that wants to chat about it, talk about it, and even, you know, hop on the video and talk about it with us. We're definitely open to that. So you can always send us a message. We'll chat with you and try to get you on. So just wanted to share our gratitude. Turn it over to Walter. He's usually the MC of this whole.
Oh man, you do the MC. Good afternoon, guys, man. Happy New Year. Hope you guys had fun with your families. Hope you guys enjoyed your holidays and you got the rest that's needed. We have taken a break for a little while. It's been too long, so we have a lot to talk about. Welcome to the channel. Like Doug said, my name is Walter, and this is Black and White Reds of Texas. Now, we love to do this. We do this for fun. We don't do this for pay. We do this because we love United. The last time we were on United was it 10th or 11th, Doug?
They were right around there. I think the last video we really did was coming off the Istanbul loss. I think was right around the last video we did.
Yeah. So the last time we were on, we were really mid-table, and we're coming back second with a game in hand above Leicester. And so there's a lot to talk about. We'll try to talk about Cavani. We'll talk about some of the performances that the players have had, the team's performances. We talk about Ole and kind of the future. And then we'll dive into today's game and kind of look at the strategy and what we think the lineup is that he's going to put out, or what system he's going to play against Villa. So, without further ado, let's talk about the big elephant in the AFA world, which is Edinson Cavani's 3-match ban. I'm just going to go on a rant for 1 second. Just allow me to go on a rant for maybe 10 seconds and say, I think it's unfair, not just because I'm a United fan, but I'm one of those people who, as you can tell, English is like my 6th language. And so there are nuances in languages that English does not understand. There are languages that have masculine and femininity. There are languages, unlike English, that have size description words that if I call you Doug, in English, if you're a big dog, I'll call Doug big dog. If he's small dog, I'll call Doug small dog. All I do is add the word small to the word dog. Now, if there was a language or a culture where calling somebody small someone is offensive, those people should understand that in English, calling somebody small Walter may not be offensive. It's the same way I call my son, hey, little man, just somebody may get offended by that. And so for me, I think the AFA should realize that the players in their league in 2020 are not all English. And so some things will cross over from other cultures, and they have to be cognizant of that fact. And so now there's a school of thought that says should he have been banned? Yeah, maybe as a lesson, maybe I'll see what Doug thinks about it. I still think he should not have. I think Cavani should not have been banned. There are worse things. If people could know what I call my twin brother when we are together, they probably never talk to me again. And so, Doug, what do you think about this ban? What do you think Cavani should have been banned?
Well, I mean, personally, no, because like I mean, for those of you that know, Walter and I are Army friends, and we would definitely be banned for half some of the jokes we make towards one another, not on camera. So like I get that kind of mentality. But as a professional, and I try to put it under the lens of that, I would have said like I would have been okay with one game. Just as a please be more careful to like what and like you said too, culturally, like one culture, his culture may be not offensive, but to others it may be offensive. So to be on a like, hey, this is not okay, but it's not really. We know you. It's kind of like judging intention, right? Like I don't think the intent, and I think what was it, and not like as much as I don't like to bring in rivals, but David Silva did something similar with Mindy in the sense of like it was a joke he posted on social media and he got a ban 3 or 4 a few years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he got a couple games for it, and it was the same kind of thing, like completely joking and completely non meaning no like malice in
Yeah,
it,
there's no malice in it.
and because David Silva did it with no malice, like and still got a game, like I would have been okay with like one game, but to me, 3 games and $100,000 is ridiculous for a cultural misunderstanding. Now, as a professional, I feel like he does have to have a little bit more attention paid to those kinds of things because you don't want to unintentionally do something detrimental. So you kind of have to be held to a little bit of a higher standard. But I think anything over one game, which obviously he got 3 games and $100,000, to me is way too harsh because of intent.
I mean, I disagree. I still think he should not have been banned at all. I think people things have to be taken in context.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem I think is, and you and I, like you said, we are army buddies, and so we try to stay out of politics. We try to stay out of um, the mood of the society, as it were. But the mood of the society has been to overreact
Yeah.
in cases like this because you would rather overreact and offend a few than not act enough and offend the many. But in this instance, I think it's the other way around, where you overreact and offend many instead of not react far enough and offend the few, because the few are the ones who are screaming the loudest. Most of the people who saw the tweet that Cavani put out didn't care. Most of the people didn't think anything of it, but the few who did are the few who speak the loudest. Now, you and I have nothing to lose, Doug, and a lot of our United fans, we have nothing to lose. We are the proverbial mouse that bells the cat. It's in every mouse's interest that the cat wears a bell around her neck, but no single mouse wants to be the one to put the bell on the cat's neck. So we will do that because we are not going to lose, man. The cat can,
Yeah.
so that's our role as fans, is to stick up for our team, stick up for our teammates, and not just for that, but I think to stand up to what is right. And I think what is right in this case is, like Doug said, I agree that maybe he should have been fined 10,000, like a small
Yeah,
little
yeah. Like
fine that's
something, yeah,
just almost symbolic, like something that will not even
exactly.
dent his, like a tip that he would give to a driver or something.
Yeah,
Just
like
but giving him a 3 match ban is
see,
absolutely.
what I really wish they would have done is while he was injured a few weeks ago, give him one match, give him 2 matches, because they already knew he was going to miss a couple weeks due to
Mhm,
injury. So that
mhm.
way you're not punishing him per se, but you're also in the sense punishing him like, hey guys, we need to make
Yeah,
sure we're being a little more careful. And I would have been okay with that if they had done it, you know, 4 weeks ago when they basically all he gave the FA a free card to say, if you're going to do it now because he's injured, he's not playing for 2 weeks. Essentially, that's what all he did, in my opinion. He gave him the opportunity to give him a ban weeks ago that would have unaffected him or the team, and now they chose to drag their feet and to punish him too harshly, in my opinion. And I think all of it is kind of they didn't do enough to Suarez, and every single incident that has been like Suarez was malice. These guys are not malice, and I
Yeah,
think that they're overreacting because they underreacted to Suarez.
yeah, and that I agree with you. I hadn't even thought about that. Suarez was just, and as wonderful a player as Suarez is, as deadly and clinical a finisher as he is, Suarez is almost what's bad about football.
But it's just like you've
Yeah,
listened to like the old stories, like in the NFL, of what people would say to one another. Like
yeah,
I don't. Some people have it in a. Some people think that character doesn't translate on the field. Like you're allowed to do certain things if
no,
in the confines. No, I'm just saying that's a mentality of some people. Like I've listened to like some of the greats like Michael Irvin, and like I like listening to like some of the greats that have played in football, and they say these people would research family, they would talk s about your family all day, like so I don't believe it's just confined to a single sport. I think culturally some people think that that mentality is okay on a pitch or on a field or on a court, basketball court, or on the hockey rink. Like some people have a mentality where what you say there is okay. It
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. But let's just come back to football and talk about Suarez, right?
Yeah.
This is a guy. If you watched the World Cup in 2010 in South Africa, Uruguay versus Ghana, I think it was a
Yeah.
quarterfinal,
Yeah,
and
that's the handball one, right?
the handball one, right?
Yeah.
Like like that is what the kind of person he is. Now, some people will say, "Oh yeah, he took one for the team," but no, Suarez was the kind of person who, when his team was about to lose, would do something that's absolutely illegal to do: jump and dive and intentionally punch the ball from going in.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it helped his country. I mean, they went on to win the penalty kick out, the PK
Yeah.
kick off after that. But that's the kind of person he is. He's the kind of person who beat someone twice, you know?
Wait, and that's what
And so,
that kind of goes back to my point though of like the mentality of what's on the pitch versus who you are off the pitch. Like some people have that belief that if when it comes to competition there is no rules. And that's a legit thing. I've come across enough people that truly believe that what happens on a pitch or on a field is a different set of rules than what
but,
you would do off of it.
yeah, you and I both being soldiers, we know that there are some places where that law would apply,
Yeah.
but not in a game, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, I'm not saying that's my belief. I'm just saying I have come across enough people that have that. Listening to like Hall of Fame players and different sports, like that is a true belief amongst people.
Well, that belief needs to change
Oh yeah.
because we have to hold our players to a higher standard. But beyond that, we have to realize that these people are human as well, and we have to realize that they're under a lot of scrutiny 100% of the time, and sometimes things like this happen. It's an innocent tweet that he put out. He retracted it. He even explained himself and said, "In my culture, this is not offensive. I apologize. I have pulled it off and I will not do it again." He still got banned. So I think Cavani, I don't think United will appeal. And the reason I don't think United will appeal is because while Cavani is still working his way up the squad, he's still a squad player. He's still not a starter. Yeah, and if you
Oh
look at
yeah.
the
He's rotational for sure.
yeah, he's
Like
a professional player. And if you look at the games that he's going to miss, yeah, the City is in there, Man City is in there, but really, that's the only team I think that we would have said, "Hey, man, we need to have this person on standby."
but even City like is not guaranteed
So what?
because of their coronavirus outbreak. They're not even a guaranteed game right now. So he may or may not by the time because it's a cup game, the Carabo Cup. So he may, I mean, by the time that game's actually played, be available. I mean,
Yeah, but yeah, so his ban at the end of the day, while you and I both disagree with it, it's there. It is what it is. It's going to happen, and we there's nothing we can do about it. Now, we're gonna move on, Doug, and we're gonna take like a 10-second break here, and move on to something else. Move on to the past 2 3 months. All right, let's what we've missed in the past couple of months. Who you think has stood out as a player, an outstanding player, where you think we are in the goalkeeper issue, and things like that. So, everybody who's watching, just stand by. We'll be right back. All right, Doug. We are back, right, guys? We are back with Black and White Reds Texas. For those who are joining, thank you for watching. We have kind of really we dove into Cavani for quite a bit, and so moving forward, Doug, it's been 2 months I think since we were here, and a lot has happened. Like we said at the onset of the program, but the last time we were on, we were 10th. I think we did have a game in hand. I feel like this whole season, Doug, we've had like a fake league position, like a fake position on the table, because we've been like 12th, 11th, 10th, 12th, 11th, 10th, 8th, 8th, 7th. But this whole time, we've had a game in hand. And if you put into effect, if you went back and looked at the table when everybody played the same amount of matches, we would have been fired or fought the entire season. We constantly had a game in hand, and the number of points between like fourth and ninth were like 3 point difference.
oh yeah, it's super stacked, like super.
Yeah, it's super stacked, which is exciting for EPL. Liverpool is not running away with it, or City is not running away with it like they've been doing. We are kind of midpoint in this 19 matches, I think, and we
Yeah.
are right in there. And it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be a United fan. It's an exciting time to be an EPL fan. And looking back, Doug, who do you think has been the most improved player for you in this past couple of games? Who do you think has been the guy for you?
Like for me, it's really hard to put it on one individual player. So what I've seen a lot is Ollie's ability to rotate people in and out and still get results. It coming off the losses to get kicked out of the Champions League, it looked like it was kind of back to if we don't play our best 11. But whatever's kind of changed over these last few weeks, like Dan James comes in and does a job. Fred's playing the best he's ever played for United,
Mm-hmm.
arguably this whole season. McTominay, they and what I kind of said put this on one of our United groups, but as like Fred, the comfortability people have in Fred to do a defensive job, unlike McTominay help pressure leads and why we're able to put up six. Like it just he's an underrated player, but what he does is the dirty work. Almost like he and I'm not comparing him like as quality, but in a sense that like the way people talked about Jason Park, like the way people nobody appreciated Carrick until he was gone. Like they just do that job that kind of goes unnoticed if you're watching the ball move, but when you like watch the player off the ball, getting into positions, like tracking the offensive players, making sure they're kind of shadowed. He just does all that dirty work, and so like right now, I'd say Fred probably is most improved this year, um, just because he's found a niche in his team, and he's got the trust of the rest of the primary starters. Like the guys that are going to be in and week out, trust he's going to do his job. which unlocks them to press higher when they have, when somebody's parking the bus, like try to be more creative offensively. So,
Hmm. Fred. Fred for me is a weird choice, and I absolutely understand that when the question is who has improved the most, Fred's name has to be up there. Fred's name has to be a top contender of who has improved the most, because that's a different question from who has had the most impact,
yeah,
right?
that's a different question. Yeah.
It's who has improved the most. And so I would say Fred as well. I would say when he started this season, Fred was the player who will win 6 tackles but will miss 7 tackles, and still be the person with the most tackles, because he attempted 13 tackles. But now he's playing a little bit more conservative. He's attempting 8 tackles instead of 13, but he is still winning 6. So his efficiency has gone up. He's not getting as tired as he used to. He can go 90 minutes playing the exact same way. I still think he has too many balls going backwards, towards Maguire, towards the other whoever's playing the other center back. That I still think he has to work on his forward passes. If you look at the stats from the different games he has played, you'll see that he's really lacking in forward passes. In lateral passes, he's doing a lot better. In back passes back to the defense, he's doing a whole lot better. But in his forward passes, he's still lacking, and that is maybe just a limitation. He's a small guy. You
Yeah.
know, people see Pogba passing the ball 7 yards across the field. It's not easy. Pogba is a big guy. Not everybody can do it. McTominay can, but if you look at
Yeah.
McTominay right now and look at what he looked like last season, it's almost as if McTominay went to the gym the whole of the off season. He's a big guy now.
No, it definitely looks like he put on an extra 10 or 15 pounds
Yeah,
over
he
the
put on
offseason.
of muscle.
Oh, yeah,
He,
for sure.
he just went to the gym and decided, I'm going to be as strong as I can get. And so McTominay uh, can do it. Pogba can do it. I've seen Matic trying to do it. Man, he almost, but not
Yeah.
many people can. Bruno can, but also it's a lot. So because of Fred's size, I think that's a limitation he has. He won't be able to switch the ball from our 18-yard left corner to the other opposing 18-yard right corner. So that's one. But yeah, I agree with you that Fred is probably the most improved player on the team. Now, who has had the most impact? I think this one goes without saying. That for me, I think it's Bruno Fernandes. He still had the most impact. Has he kind of started plateauing a little bit? I think yes, he has. Not to mean he's still not outstanding. I think he's still outstanding as a player. I just think that credit has to go to opposing coaches and opposing players. These guys are pros for a reason, and they always try to find ways to find you out. And so for Bruno, I think as much as he's been the one with the biggest impact, maybe across the Premier League, maybe across the whole league, they've realized that you can make him disappear. If you let him have the ball, he will hurt you. But if you cut off the ball from him, he can disappear in games. More and more you find him having these lull minutes in games where for 10 minutes you don't know where he is. Where for 15 minutes we're like, where's Bruno, man? He has had 2 touches in the last 10 minutes. And so coaches are finding this out. And so I still think he's had the biggest impact in United. I still think as a United fan, I would have him. He would be the first name on my team sheet every week in, week out. But I think his coaches are starting to find him out. Coaches are starting to be a lot wiser when playing against United, because if you let Bruno Fernandes touch that ball, he will hurt you. He can pass it. He can no look pass it accurately. He can finish. He can tap them in. He can shoot them in from either feet. I think he's an outstanding player. So for me, Bruno is my impact player for the last 2 months. How about you, Doug? Or if
Oh
and
yeah.
if it is, who comes second? Because I don't want
So
to.
for yeah, for me, I would have to say because he affects so much of the game that it would
Yeah.
have to be Bruno. But kind of like almost a 1B like situation would have to be Rashford because he's the only guy we have outside of Bruno consistently putting in goals, like consistently giving that effort to the 93rd minute. I mean, like at Wolves, like he's like, I'm gonna shoot again and again, and eventually one of these is gonna go in. Like not giving up. And so for me, like getting a goal when we need a goal has kind of been Rashford this year. Um, and it sucks because he needs a break, like with his bum shoulder that he's got going on. But like impactful, like those two together, like creatively, like yeah, one probably won't be as good without the other. It's
Mhm.
like especially Rashford needing the playmaker that Bruno is. But yeah, he Rashford needs a little bit of credit in that category, I would say.
Yeah, but somebody we were discussing this with a friend of mine the other day, and he's of the school of thought that Rashford, even being as skillful, young, fast, and impactful as he is, he still wastes a lot of chances. Like
But not statistically.
more than
Like
more than
the
he used.
stats don't back that up.
Yeah, but like he's scoring, yeah, but like if so, for example, the example he gave me was the previous game that we played, not this particular one, but oh man, not the last match. Like so,
Not the
let's
Wolves match, but yeah.
not Wolves match. Okay, so even against Wolves, so he scores in the 90 something minute, but he misses the header
Oh yeah, for sure.
in the first minute. That whole you get a red hot or a blue cold striker out of him. If he's red
Well, I
hot, he's red hot. If he's blue cold, he's blue cold cold.
see. I disagree because um, I think it was Stretford Paddock guys. I didn't
Mm.
validate these stats, so I'm gonna trust that they're accurate. Holland is the best striker in the world conversion rate, like 1 in 3. So out of every 3 chances, he's gonna get a goal. Rashford's in a grouping with the best in the world behind him at like 1 in 4. I think it was like 4 or 4.5. So out of every 4.5 chances he gets on goal, he's scoring. So when you look at the numbers like that, like it may sometimes I guess like live action and stats always don't always paint a whole picture.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like you can use them for your argument like either way. But I don't think that he's as hot or cold necessarily as that argument. I do think he's if a guy gets 4 chances on target and he's converting 1 out of every 4, I think that's a pretty good rate for a striker.
Yeah, but as stats, like you said, stats say one thing, but as fans, we look at a game like the Leicester game and go, man, had he just tapped that one in, we would have won 3-0, 3-2. You know,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
just done it. So stats, yes, we'll say that he had 3 chances and he scored one of them. But for us, at the end of the game, we almost don't care. No, we're like, hey, that's 1 point. Now, 1 point against Leicester away is a good point.
I mean,
But
considering over the last and since their title run, I would, and as much as I hate to say it, they're they're an equal level of competition over the last couple of years based on what we had versus what they had. Like their guys overperformed, our guys kind of hated Mourinho and underperformed up until the Ole days. But I feel like, if you're drawing away against a top four team, which Leicester has consistently been top four, top six since their title challenge, then I think that's a fair point. Like it's
yeah,
a good point to earn.
yeah, with Leicester, you have to look at the players you're playing. When Leicester have Ndidi in the middle, he is like he plays Carrick-esque. He slows the game down for you. He slows the game down enough for Vardy or for Jameson, for other players to start making those runs, to start getting into position, and he won't even pass the ball. He will give it right to someone right next to him, and that's the person who's gonna pass the ball. He'll give it to Tillman, or he'll give it to somebody else to pass the ball forward. But that's where we got caught out in the Leicester game, that he was able to slow down that game to where we would run into the midfield and then run out of ideas, because he gets the ball and really, really slows it down. Yeah, Leicester has been a good team for the past, 5-6 years. But I think it's still a shame that we are playing to their level.
Oh yeah.
And I mean this in the worst possible way. If you're a Leicester fan, I'm not. I don't even mean this in a good way. I'm a United fan. Take it for what it is. I think we should not be playing down to Leicester's level. They had that the championship winning season. They offloaded a bunch of players after that. They're doing decent. They have a really good manager right now. Brendan Rodgers is a really, really good manager. He knows what he's doing with most teams that he's been at. He was excellent in Liverpool. And so they're playing up to their potential. What I want us to do is to play up to our potential. And sometimes I think in some games we get the ugly wins like we did against Wolves because we did not play to our potential. And that's one of those matches where, the Leicester game we had 10 total shots, 9 on target. Leicester had only 4 total shots, 2 on target. But the game ended 2-2. So we need.
But that's a talking point right there, because I mean, if you look, our chances created to conversion, it has been pretty terrible. We do create chances, a lot of them, and a lot of them don't get converted. Like that's like I think the big difference, like especially if you look at the Leeds game, it's like we had 6, but how many games have we seen those not go in? The McTominay shot, like the Bruno, like all those. I mean, it seems like more often than not they don't go in. Just that particular game, everything was fine in the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the stats right here, and I'm looking at the Leeds game, and we had 26 total shots. We had 14 shots on target. We scored 6 goals. And when you go back and look at the Everton game that we won 2-0 away, and look at the stats on that, we had 19 shots on target, 19 shots with 8 on target, and so we scored 2 of them. And so it follows that when we attack more, when we have more shots on target, we give ourselves a better chance to score. Once we lock down the back, we should be champion contenders if we can shut the door at the back. That's the big lesson that I got from this couple of months that we were off. Because if you look at the last 0-0 game we played was 12th December against City, right? And after that, we put 3 against Sheffield. They scored 2. We don't concede those 2. Our goal difference is a lot better. We put 6 against Leeds. They scored 2. They don't score those 2. Our goal difference now has gone up +4.
Well, yeah, but one of those was just
against Everton.
One of those was a worldie, like one of those goals is just like, okay, that's gonna go in 99 out of 100. He just struck it perfectly. Like, sometimes it happens in a game. But the other one was preventable, I agree. So one of those,
even the Leicester game, those are soft goals. Those are really soft. And so when you concede like that, and then you look at the league table and go, hey, if we go head to head, same number of points with Liverpool, it comes down to goal difference, and their goal difference is +7 above ours. I'm like, we are conceding goals that may cost us a championship because we're conceding really soft goals. Now, I know we're going to talk about what kind of personnel we need in, who we need to strengthen the back of the squad. But I still think talking a little bit about the games that have passed is good, because apart from showing our guys that we've been following United, we didn't just close shop and leave. It's just that we didn't put any content out. We were still watching these games, and we were still engaged with United. And so, UTFR United has posted a comment here saying that United is going to win 10-0. Well, we wish, right?
Right.
Yeah,
It definitely makes it more enjoyable.
it makes it more enjoyable, man. But 10-0 is more like first quarter basketball, high school score, man. It's one of those.
It's like
It's
a terrible
unreal.
football game.
But hey, you know what? If you're betting, man, I say go bet 10-0. Hey, you get some of that winnings. That's a good way to start 2021. But that's funny. Thanks for commenting, by the way. Guys, if you want to comment, just send us a comment, and we'll show your comment here. If you want to join the studio, if you want to be on video with us discussing United, go ahead and post it on the comments that you want to do that. I'll send you an invite link, and you'll be able to join. Again, this is Black and White Reds of Texas, and I'm going to say we will be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to Black and White Red Texas. I'm Walter with Doug, and we've been talking about the past 2 months, what's happened with United since we've been out, what players are the most improved. We both agree that Fred is the most improved player in the squad. Who's the most impactful player? I think we both agreed that Bruno Fernandes is the most impactful player in the squad right now. But I want us to take a minute and talk about Bailey, depending on which side of the world you're in. He's the one player who people pronounce his name as different as it is. I'll just call him Eric, right? We're going to talk about Eric, and I can throw Eric's picture up here so that we see who we talk about. Hopefully this thing doesn't cut him off. Cut him off. But yeah, that's the guy, Eric. We're talking about Eric Bailly, man. What kind of player has he been? What an outstanding back he's been in the last couple of games. So let's just for one second, Doug, your thoughts on this guy. He's 26. He's made a bunch of appearances for us. He's almost, it's unbelievable. He's almost made 100 appearances for United. Most people don't realize that. Eric Bailly has made 92 appearances already. And so, he's an Ivorian from West Africa. He is the kind of player we want, except he really, really needs to stay healthy for us. If you look at his stats, man, he is the kind of person, and I'm looking at my iPad here, his passing rate, 94%. Unbelievable. His tackles, just this last game, 94% of his passes were accurate. His passes in the final third were 80%. He had 1-for-1 tackles, 100% tackles. He won most of his duels. He's the kind of person you want to be up there playing. But can Eric realistically stay healthy? Doug, what are your thoughts on Eric Bailly starting today? Do you think he starts today? We're about to get the lineups in a little bit.
I would say no, not because I don't think he's good, just because of kind of watching all his tendencies. And I think he'll go if I mean I don't know about Lindelof's injury. Like that's the one thing I haven't looked up to this game. I know he was been injured. That's why he hasn't played the last couple. But I feel like if Lindelof's healthy, he prefers the Lindelof McGuire pairing. Um, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, like I think if judging because I didn't look that up before we started this, I would say yes, Baye will play if Lindelof's injury is still ongoing. And I think he's talent, but the thing is, like you said, is he has not consistently stayed healthy his entire time at United.
I mean, so here's the deal with Bai for me. I think Bai plays with a hot head. What I mean is he's never calm. He's an outstanding player, great skill, great fast touch. He can shimmy and do all these things even in our own 18 at box and successfully, play the ball out. He's fast. He can cover down for mistakes that other people have made. And for me, I attribute part of his injuries to that. If you look at how he gets injured a lot of the times, he is running to cover Maguire's mistake. He is running to cover a spot where one Bissaka AWB just went up and forgot his spot back there, and no midfielder. McTominay didn't come back and cover that corner. And so a lot of his injuries come from things that are preventable by other players. He is, I think, Barry Star, if I were a manager and I have a healthy Lindelof and a healthy Eric, I am playing Eric every day, every game, especially because my my center back, my captain, is very, very uh, gray. You don't know what shade of gray you get with Maguire when it's like he has all those 50 shades, man. You don't know which one comes to the game. He may be the one who's outstanding, or you may get the gray that absolutely, absolutely is horrible, horrible. Like we had with Leicester. He was bad with Leicester. He was almost playing for Leicester. You know.
Yeah, I'm like, and not to hop on this bash McGuire, but I'm not a fan. Like in the sense of like what we paid, and even if you take that out, I don't think I think Baye and Lindelof would make a better partnership because I have not seen anything that organizationally that makes up for his lack of mobility. And so Maguire to me is probably the out of those three the worst. He's not athletic enough. He doesn't seem to command a box, organize the back line. Like I just haven't seen enough like of anything that says he deserves the, other than he stays healthy. That's literally the only thing that he has is he can play week in and week out. But actual talent wise, I feel like Lindelof and Baye are better than Maguire. I just like there must be something in the
You
dressing
know,
room, like on the training ground, like that we don't see. But I
I
just
don't
think he's
think. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I agree with you. For me personally, and people may bash me for this, I think he's a horrible defender. I think that his one strength is he's good at heading the ball out of corners and free kicks and dead ball situations, but that's because he's a big tall guy. You get another big tall guy, Rio would do the same
we,
thing. The Vidic would do the
we
same
have a
thing.
dozen of them. We
Yeah,
have Matic and McTominay. Like
yeah,
we have
and
big
so
tall guys.
yeah, so when you're talking about our defenders, the problem is we do not realistically have a replacement for him because um, yeah, you could say, hey, I'll play AWB and then play Lindelof and Bailly in the middle, and if Bailly is hard, maybe play Lindelof and Axel in the middle, or Fosu Mensah in the middle, and have you know Shaw play uh, left back or Tellus. It's you could give all those scenarios, but I think in all those scenarios you're getting two defenders who are not used to be the commanding defender. We need someone who can replace him, who is a commanding defender. Like, yeah, Bay is good, Lindelof is good, but they won't be screaming at each other back there because they're both used to being the number 4, not the number 5. They're both used to being the the guy who doesn't point things out. Now, having said that, Maguire is, for me, as a midfielder, the one thing that used to drive me crazy was a defender who holds the ball 1 second too long. And that is a weakness I've seen with Maguire. That whole, I'm going to step on the ball, look left, look right, look up, look down like I'm crossing the road, and then pass the ball to the very guy who I should have passed the ball 2 seconds ago to. It's absolutely insane. And you will see it. Now that I've mentioned it, watch this coming game, watch this game against Villa. You will see that when he gets the ball, 8 times out of 10, he steps on the ball and tries to turn left or right when a clear pass is right in front of him. And then what will you do at the end of it? Make that same pass. And what you have done is, as a midfielder, you've given me, or you've given the defender or the other opposing midfielder the opportunity to come closer to me. So by the time you're giving me that ball, now I have to either move with it quicker, pass it quicker, when I would have had a lot more time on that ball had you just passed the ball to me in the first place. And then added to the fact, like you said, he's not athletic enough. The only reason why what's his name, Wolves guy, solid build, runs like crazy, Toure. The only reason why he couldn't do anything was Bailly is just as athletic.
Yeah.
There. So the moment he got the ball, he beat 2-3 midfielders. When he got back there, Bailly would take him out. And I think Fosu Mensah will take him out. I think Axel Tonzebe will take him out. I do not think.
We haven't even talked about Mendy.
Yeah, I think Mendy. And I don't think Maguire would. I don't think so. So
no. So I mean, the thing is, I want to kind of go back to a point you made a while ago about the leadership role. We've seen Lindelof do it in Sweden. I just think that he hasn't been given the keys from the boss to be that, if that makes sense. Like, if you being a good teammate, Maguire has the captain's armband. He plays right next to him. If you're the second in that center back duo and the other guy's the captain, I've seen him do it a little bit, but it's kind of Maguire's job, and you don't want to be a bad teammate. Is kind of how it comes across to me at times with Lindelof, because there were times before Maguire where Lindelof did a fairly decent job kind of organizing and stuff. But I think we're like defensively, since we're on the defensive subject, De Gea, for all his attributes that are great, shot stopping, organizational, and commanding a box are still a weakness. They're
absolutely.
not as much of a weakness as they were his first couple seasons, where it was like every goal is going to go in if it's a set piece or a corner.
Absolutely.
But he doesn't organize. I don't see Maguire organizing. So I think until we get somebody that and that's what frustrates me about Maguire, like in the price tag and everything. Like if he at least commanded a box, organized everything, then there would be some sort of value there. But because he's unathletic, because he doesn't seem to organize everybody, keep the defense on the same page, like, and commanding it, then to me he's just an okay defender. Like, he stays healthy enough. Like, that's it. That's it. And so I think until we get somebody that is Ferdinand as that organizes and commands that area, like if you look at and the keepers and stuff in the past, like they would a lot of times command it in partnership with Ferdinand, in partnership with Stam for the brief period, he was a United center back. Like there was always somebody there that kind of owned the box, and they're usually the keeper and one of the defenders really did that job. And right now, and for the last few years, we've had nobody that really owns it.
Yeah, well, it's 1:05 p.m. That means as of 5 minutes ago, the lineups were out. So we are going to take a 30-second break. We're going to come right back and talk about what we think about this lineup and what we think about the strategy and the system that Ole is putting for the Aston Villa game. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. 30 seconds. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Black and White Reds of Texas. Again, my name is Walter with Doug, and we are going to talk about lineups. We're going to talk about strategy. We're going to talk about the game coming up right now. So the lineups are out, and Doug, I don't know if you had the chance to look at them and to look at the kind of system is.
Yeah, I just pulled it up.
Putting out. So he looks like he's playing 4-4-2 with a diamond in the middle. And you know, there's no shocker. Number one is the hair with Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, and guess who's partnering Maguire in the middle? Bai is playing. So everything.
Yeah, I think Lindelof still.
Yeah, with Shaw on the left side. Then right in front of them is Fred at the tip of the bottom tip of the diamond, and then Pogba and McTominay in the middle. And then at the top tip of that diamond is Fernandez, and then Rashford and Martial. So it's a 4-4-2 with a diamond in the middle. What do you think of that? Because looking at at what Villa is coming with like a 4-2-3-1. You know, they're going to kind of pack the middle also a little bit. So they're playing that 4-2-3-1 where the 2 and the 3 are Douglas Luiz and McGinn, and Grealish smack in the middle of it with El Ghazi and Traore coming in. Now, I don't know what strategy or rather we will talk about strategy here in a little bit, but what are your thoughts, Doug, on the system that Ole is playing? Does it look as offensive as you want it to be? Does it look defensive or reactive? How do you look at it?
I think it's pretty solid. I mean, you know, they're probably going to counterattack. It's going to be a defend, get Grealish the ball, and try to push up the field. Is what Villa's probably going to try, because that's typically what they've done, especially last year against us. Was just get Grealish the ball and hope for something magical to happen. But no, I think it's a good balance. You know, considering Cavani's out, I mean, the kind of stack up of fixtures, it's you know, rotating McTominay in, like it's getting Pogba starting minutes, and looking at the bench too, like Lingard's on the bench, you know, so it looks like he's trying to kind of like, it looks like he wants to rotate players in and kind of get them rest too. Like it seems like one of those games if we get up too low, and then you know other players will come in and kind of sub off.
But can we afford at this point to play rotational teams? You know, can we afford, because we are sitting second, Liverpool just drew. Can we afford to not put our best 11 out there? Is the question. I think he's put a pretty strong 11, because when you look at Villa, you look at Grealish. Right. I know everybody seems to have the tunnel vision to kind of focus on Grealish, but El Ghazi is really strong on the right. And Traore, if you let Traore run at you, and he'll be running at Shaw this whole game, if you let Traore run at you, cut into his left leg, he's deadly. He's really weak on his right. If Shaw can keep pushing Traore to the right, pushing to the line, let him run to the corner flag, then we are good on that wing. But if you let Traore cut into the right and start coming in and trying to feed the ball into all the Watkins, we're going to have a long day. And I think Ole is looking at that, and that's why Ole is playing a flat 4 in the back, and then telling Fred, I want you to stay right at the tip of this diamond, right in front of my defenders, because we know El Ghazi has pace, Traore has trickery, and we know Grealish right in the middle has both. We have not done well with corners and free kicks and things like that. And I agree with you. That's a really weak point that Tahir has, where he doesn't really command the box. He doesn't shout at his defenders like we saw Van de Sar, we saw Schmeichel, we saw other other even keepers who are not that good. Ben Foster used to scream at our defenders, position them. We don't see the hair doing that, and so I think Ole is playing Fred that deep to just protect against these three attacking midfielders from Villa. Because once we cross over to them and go to Douglas Luiz and McGinn, yeah, they're good, but I think our front three, if you put Bruno, Rashford, and Martial as a V, I think Mings and Cash can't stop us. You know, I don't think the defense can stop us. The thing I worry about with Villa is moving forward. The moment they get into slightly past their half and start giving the ball, like I say, to El Ghazi, who can make those runs on the left, or to Traore on the right, that is where I think we absolutely need to lock it down. I know McTominay will probably be playing in the pocket. I am curious to see how they stand when they stand with Pogba in the middle. I am very curious to see how it is.
Yeah, I really hope that they give Pogba more give Pogba more license to be forward. That like especially if we're gonna have Fred back there, just let because they're gonna need creativity because they're gonna park the bus. I mean, it just kind of seems like what they're gonna do is they're gonna really just hit the counter. So like you're gonna need as much creativity to unlock it as you need up there, and having Pogba up there with those other three will definitely help that out.
Yeah, I mean, we can't underestimate Villa. Villa, they have a pretty good keeper. I know Arsenal are kicking themselves in the butt for letting Martinez go and seeing all these clean sheets that Martinez is keeping at Villa. But they have a good keeper. I think their defense is suspect. I don't think Mings and Goyo in the middle are strong. I don't think Cash and Target are particularly strong in the back, and so I think uh, we should see Greenwood coming at some point. Maybe have Martial and Rashford tire these guys out a little bit, and this would have been a perfect game for Cavani because you tire these guys out and make them question themselves. Make them get injured a little bit trying to tackle and slide or whatever, get a few knocks in the game, and then you bring in somebody as clinical as Cavani who can then take advantage of the slower turning that the defender is now making, or the slower reaction, having played 70 minutes of a game. But looking at the middle, like I said, as they set up as a 2-3, almost like a 4-5-1 with a 2-3 middle, I think Pogba and Bruno are going to squeeze in just to try and pull El Ghazi and Traore in to free our wing backs, to try and free that channel on the left and right, because we need them to move up. Anytime we sit back and and sit and just try and soak up that pressure, we don't have good games. We are not we don't soak pressure well. We are not that United team yet that can just soak up pressure and then hit you on the counter. We can hit you on the counter, but we need to keep you in your own half. We need to play this game when they do a heat map of where this game is being played. We need that huge red blob to be on the Villa half side of the game. That's what I think. So, do you think, Doug, that going with a 4-4-2 is the best Ole could have put out?
Um, I think that to a certain degree, there's the balance of he likes to shift systems, but he also kind of likes this diamond system. And when you're going to have a team that's really going to be focused on defensive, if the guys are most comfortable in this system, it doesn't mean it's the best system. But if they know their roles they know where people are gonna be, that unlocks more of the creativity. If I don't have to look over my shoulder to make sure, you know, my winger is going to be over there or making that run, if I trust that he's making that run and I can pass it without having to check first, that's how you break down super defensive teams. So, do I think it's their best system? No, but do I? If I'm trusting that they understand their roles in the system and are gonna, and it seems like their creativity is a like in the personnel grouping have a lot more faith of he's making this run or when he's gonna make that run. So Bruno can send the ball early. We're not getting offsides and all those kind of little small details that happen when you trust the system and the players where they're going to be. So I think for those reasons why he went with this system, and I think hopefully it'll pay dividends in goals and the ability to bring on some other guys, get them playing time, and I think that's ultimately what the system is set up for: get an early lead and then start rotating guys in to get playing time like Van de Beek, and I'm assuming Lingard's on the bench for if we get a lead, just let him go tire out the other side, close out the game.
Yeah, I don't get why Lingard is on the bench. I like the guy. He's a United, academy guy. And I know we just extended his contract. I think that's all financial. It's not anything to do with football. I think, had we not extended it, he would have walked for free. Now that his contract is extended, we're probably going to sell him for 20. We can easily get 20 million for him. So I don't get why he's even on the bench. I don't think he is good enough to start at United right now. As much as I love him, I don't think he's good enough to start at United. At some point, we have to say, hey, JC, we love you, but we wish you the best in.
No, and I think at this point in time, Dan James is
and
doing his job, but better.
And I was going to go into that immediately right now because I was going to say he's playing 4-4-2 today. He has Rashford and Martial starting as strikers. What do you think of Dan James instead of Martial starting this game? Because now, okay, it's too late now, but I would have started Dan James instead of Martial. The reason is we have to also reward strikers when they do certain things. When Dan James comes in and scores, it's his first goal in a long time. His confidence goes right up. I think for us to keep that confidence up there, we start him today. We are starting him against a suspect defense anyways. He might just use his speed, go beyond Congo and Ngoyo and score. And so I disagree with Martial starting, and I know that Martial's problem is he gets in his head, he starts doubting himself. And the more he doesn't score and the more he gets dropped to the bench, the more he spirals down this bad hole. And sometimes it takes him a while to come back out of it and score and get back to his best. But I think today we sacrificed James for Martial unfairly. What do you think?
I don't necessarily agree with that one. I think James is, as of right now in his development, he is better as a counter attacker. I haven't seen enough creativity when to beat a low blocker, to beat a team that's going to really sit back. I've seen a little bit more. If you look at what Martial does in tight spaces with the ball, it suits going against a super defensive team. Like I think the Leeds game was perfect for James because there's acres of space. Get him the ball, he can run because they're going to press. So I get more frustrated when we go against a team that we know is going to try to take possession and press us, because those are the exact moments when you want Dan James to start, because that's his strong suit. Get him the ball, he can get it down to the other end, and he's gotten a lot better about picking out good passes, taking his shot selections, getting better. So for me, like I'm perfectly fine with him not in this game because plus one, there's going to be plenty of games, even that City one in the cup coming up. City's going to want to keep possession and press, so that's the game you do start Dan James so he can just wear out their back line.
Well, I mean, we have games that we can rotate players. We have Burnley coming up, and And no disrespect to Burnley. Well, you know what? It's Burnley. You're Burnley. You know yourselves. I'm not gonna say no disrespect. You're the kind of team that, even though you have given us trouble in the past, I think you're the kind of team that we can try and experiment with. But today, you feel Martial should start. I still think, as a striker, if you're going through this slump, some games are too important for you to experiment in. Um, it's only a shame that Greenwood is not starting for him either. I mean,
Yeah,
Martial
and
is,
that would have been a better option too. Like,
yeah.
but
So
Greenwood's not playing great. He hasn't. I mean, has he even
yeah,
scored yet this year?
yeah, Greenwood is not playing great, but I think he's playing better than Martial. He's playing better than Anthony. I think, yeah, Anthony will win us that penalty and will try and take people like that. But look at how many shots he'll take. Look at how many uh, balls he'll take and pass. Greenwood
Oh,
almost.
you can see his confidence. You can see Martial's confidence. Like stuff, the way he shoots the ball is
Yeah,
just like he doesn't trust himself.
he
Like
doesn't trust
when you
himself.
watch.
And Greenwood, and if you watched the last game, there are lots of instances where Wan Bissaka gets the ball from the hair, and Greenwood is right here, right in front of him. Like, he has come back to help take the ball and take it back forward. He has come back to assist the defense in getting the ball. And so I think Ole should be a shrewd manager. He's a nice guy. I think he should be a cutthroat manager,
I don't.
because this is what I mean. I mean, Sir Alex would take you out in the 15th minute. He would take you out in the 20th minute. He would start a squad and realize, oh snap, Rashford is not working
But
today.
he'd also.
Pull you up. Ole
But
will
when
not.
Rooney started a season fat and out of shape, he let him keep playing. Like so, I think Ferguson too. Like he knew who to be shrewd with and who to nurture. Like there's plenty of like Rooney had the best story where Nani couldn't handle it. Like he could not take the verbal abuse. So Rooney said one day Nani did something in a game, took a dribble on. So when halftime came in, Ferguson goes into the locker room and lights up Rooney because he knew he could handle it and Nani couldn't. And not, it wasn't a single thing that Rooney did, but Nani knew he was dribbling too much past the ball. And so everything he wanted Nani to change, but he lit up Rooney instead.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
he shows who he know you got to know who to nature like who can take it and who needs to be nurtured softly. And I think that Ollie's learning that along the way. Like does he go too soft maybe,
Yeah,
but the only way to become that man manager is
I think, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying treat everybody the same. I know people are different. What I'm saying is be that manager who's not afraid to pull somebody out of the game in the 20th minute and just go, you know what? Yeah, we tried with this guy, it's not working. Let's change the system before we are 3-0 down. Look at all those away games, all those 1-0s. The way we kept falling behind. I'm telling you, we are second by the skin of our teeth. We give ourselves such a hard time to get to second. And sometimes I think it's, hey man, I'm gonna start this like this, but hey, if Shaw is not working or Tellus is not working in the 20th minute, I'll tell Shaw to start warming up. Like, hey man, Alex Tellus is not working in left back. You're going in. And so I'm just looking at that. I know as a manager he's growing into it, but I think it's time to look at that and 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 have him get up there and become the manager that he could be. We have a comment here from someone. I cannot pronounce that name. I'm just gonna say Atas. From Atas. It would help to tell us where you are. But yeah, we love United too, and I'm sure United loves you too. We have another comment here. If you have any reader who can translate that, just let us know what that means. Thank you, Samarno, for your comments. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with loving United though, because he has United on his photo. But yeah, guys, this is Texas, a black and white Reds Texas with Walter and Doug. It's been a while since we had this stream yet going, and so it's a little rough today. We're a little rough on the edges, but our love for United hasn't changed, and so we are looking forward to this game. We will be right back. Give us about 30 seconds, and we'll be back to keep talking about United. All right, it's that time, Doug. We're gonna take your predictions here in a little bit, and if you guys want to comment with your predictions as well, just send us a comment. We'll put your predictions up here on the screen. If you want to join the video studio, also send me a comment. Send us a comment that you want to join, and we'll put you on there. Before we go into predictions and what we think about how the game is gonna go, let's talk about one midfielder that I think a lot of people are talking about. They think we are wasting this person. I want to get your perspective on it, Doug. Van de Beek, I want you to tell me what do you think about him, his future at United, where he is in this game. Are we going to see him? He's on the bench. And if you're going to see him, when do you think we are going to see him? And for those watching, if you want to just comment as well, and we'll put your comment in there. Tell us what you think about Van de Beek, his future at United, and his future in this game that's coming up right now. Doug.
Yeah, I think he has the potential there.
He has a potential for this game. He has a potential to be like, why?
Sorry, yeah, I think we got a real bad delay going. We got like a 10-second delay. But
right,
so what I was thinking with him is like if you look at him early on in the year, he was winded after like 40 minutes. So I think it's also I think a little bit up until recently was probably fitness. Like I think because of the way that the Dutch league stopped so early in the pandemic, he wasn't getting playing time. So if you looked early on, he was just super winded. In like an hour, he was just kind of dead leg. So I think partly it's his own fitness that wasn't ready at the beginning of the year, and I think there's also the chemistry of the team because we are like really trying to compete and better our, at least to better our points tally from last year. So I think it's been a pretty decent bringing him along slowly type campaign as he's getting his fitness up. And to me, that's just what I think it was. It was his fitness. There was no preseason really, so he just took a little bit longer to kind of get into the kind of playing shape that was needed. And now that when he comes on, he's starting to look a little bit more energetic and also looking a little more like Matt Sharp. So I think he'll slowly get transitioned to more regular playing time, especially with all the cup games and everything coming up.
Yeah, if you're joining us, we are talking about Van de Beek, his future at United, his future at this game today. Where does he fit in? Do you think he's going to come in? Do you think and if you think he is going to come in, when do you think, and at what minute do you think he's going to come in? So send us your comments, send us your thoughts on this match, on your predictions. Send us your predictions as well. Send us who you think the man of the match is going to be. Send us a comment, and we'll post it on here for you, and we'll read it and read your name on air. Doug, going back to Van de Beek, I still don't know what kind of midfielder he is, for us. I know his ability, but you know how we know that McTominay is that defensive midfielder. You know how we know that Fred is that defensive midfielder. We know that Pogba is better as a central midfielder to an attacking midfielder. We know that Bruno and Pogba kind of the same thing. Van de Beek for me is still an up in the air type of midfielder. Like, where do you want him? Tell us your thoughts, guys. Do you think Van de Beek is an attacking midfielder? Do you think Van de Beek is a defensive midfielder? Where in the great grand scheme of things at United does Van de Beek play? In today's game, he's on the bench. Do you think he comes in? Do you think, and if he comes in, who do you think comes out for him? If he comes in, who do you think comes out for him? So, Doug, I know we lost you there for a minute, but like we were asking, If Van de Beek comes in today, who do you think comes out? Is it coming in for Pogba? Is it coming in for McTominay? Is it coming in for Fred? What kind of midfielder is he for us?
Um, I think that's the kind of benefit to him. He can kind of do a job and all, but I don't think he's particularly world class at anything. From like a little bit of the stuff people talked about, kind of watching some of his Ajax stuff, he's solid technically, like defensive to attacking midfielder. Um, so I think he's going to be the kind of guy that comes in depending on the need. Um, if it's if we haven't scored and it's 70 minutes in, then maybe you take off Fred or McTominay and you put on Van de Beek, and you get that little bit more creativity that he has over those two. If we're up 3-1 and it's in the 70th minute, then maybe you take off of Bruno, let him rest. He still has enough creativity, but he can do more of a defensive job to close out the game. So to me, that's his greatest strength is his positional flexibility, but his weakness is not being particularly great at any one that I've seen up until this point.
So if you have to bring a midfielder on today, are you bringing in Van de Beek or are you bringing in Mata? Because Mata is also the bench. Or does it depend on the circumstance of the game?
It's completely situational. Like,
Yes.
it's because you don't know if Aston Villa is. I mean, and it's kind of like I said a second ago. It's like if you're up 3-1 and you want to close out the game, then Van de Beek would definitely be better. But if you're tied 1-1 and you're trying to win, then Mata's experience, creativity, working in tight spaces, and unlocking a defense is going to be a little bit more beneficial to you. So, it's kind of always. I mean, it's fun to just say I do this and I do that, but like the difference between the good managers and the bad is reading the game, what's happening at that moment, and deciding which player would be more beneficial versus the end, who's tired and who needs to be subbed off or subbed on.
Yeah, so that kind of comes towards answering the question. So we know that Mata and Van de Beek are kind of like two different types of midfielders. They will come in two different situations. What about Matic and Van de Beek? Like if we need to close down the game, we are leading 3-0. Do you bring Fred out and bring Matic in, or do you bring Van de Beek in at that point?
At this point in time against a team like Villa, I would put in Van de Beek because Matic is not his quickness is gone. He's just he positions himself greatly to make up for it through experience and age. And
Right.
so I would do my best if I was in Ollie's shoes is to save Matic for the big games. He needs a week to recover if you're gonna get his 100%. And so if I'm gonna play City or Liverpool or Champions League, like I'm giving him a week rest, and I'm not gonna like worry about Villa. And then that's the time when you bring on Van de Beek and let him show something because he is solid defensively. And if it looks like Fred or McTominay is getting leggy because we've had a lot of fixtures, then let him get in and do a job defensively because he does. I mean, anybody that comes from Ajax has a very good tactical mind. So at the very least, he can understand positionally what he needs to be doing, and I don't think you'll lose anything.
Yeah, do you think having 9 subs sitting on the bench helps managers or just complicates things when it comes to picking out a team? Like today, I'm looking at our bench and I'm seeing James, Lingard, Matic, Dean, Henderson, Tellers, Greenwood, Tonzebi, Mata is in there, Van de Beek is in there. Is it giving the coach too many options to where it may not lead to a right judgment call at the moment when it's needed, or what? Because this is a lot of people to have sitting on the bench, and if you're thinking someone gets hurt, I need to put someone in. It's a shame that you have only 3 subs, but at that point, how do you carry 9 people into the game and not know the strategy, or not even in your head know, this person is most likely never going to play. Apart from the goalie, the goalie almost certainly is never going to play.
He's just there in
No,
case of emergency.
he's just there in case of emergency. And do you think there are some players right now sitting on the bench who know I'm only here in case of emergency? You
Yeah,
know,
like Lingard. Like Lingard's there.
no, Lingard, I don't even understand why he's there. It's almost like he has dirt on Oli or something. Like I don't understand why he's on the squad. I don't get it. We have Brandon Williams down with the under 23s. I would have brought him up and put him on here for the game, for this game. We have a bunch of young players in the under 23 squad who are really good. I would have put Mengi in this. I would have brought him with me to this game. These are guys who die for opportunities to play at Old Trafford. So I personally think 9 subs it doesn't help.
Yeah, I think because we're only doing 3 subs versus 5. Like last season, towards the end of it, they were allowing 5 subs.
Mhm.
So 9 does seem quite excessive if you're not
It's excessive.
allowing the 5. If you're only doing 3, then it seems a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, and that in itself is a thing that I think the FA again decided we are going to offend the many because the few are the ones with the loudest voices, and we just don't like noise in our ears. So I'm just going to give this one person who's screaming in my ear what he wants, so that no one is screaming in my ear, because the other 10 people are not, even though it's in their best interest that I don't give this person this thing. It doesn't make sense. If you ask me, their reasoning for not allowing 5 subs does not make sense. I don't get it. I know 5 subs in a game of 11 seems like changing a whole, that's pretty much changing half the team. But how is that different from basketball? How is that different
Yeah.
from football? How is that different from hockey? How is that different from any other sport? I still think there are purists out there. I am kind of a purist. Like for me, I still hate. I think in 2020, in the rest of the world, the worst thing that could have happened to soccer was VAR. In the US, it's Peacock, followed by VAR. But in the rest of the world, I think VAR is the worst thing that could have happened to football, to soccer. So I still think we shouldn't have VAR, but I see the advantages of it. I'm just a purist. I think sports should unite us, but it shouldn't be by uniting us by millimeters and 0.025 inches. That's when at that point we're being ridiculous. And it has worked for us. I mean, I went back and looked at I watched the game, I think Arsenal team, and Scholes was offside by a foot, but the assistant ref didn't see that, and had he not been offside at that, had there been VAR, we would have lost that game. And so yeah, things have worked out for us, and things have worked out against us before, but that is what's supposed to be.
Let's do our predictions and wrap up, because I want to try to make it to the fan club by kickoff.
Oh, you're heading out to fan club. All right, guys, we are going to end this in just a little bit. I am predicting 2-0 United. I'm predicting Rashford scores. I'm predicting Martial scores. So I'm predicting 2-0 on this one.
I think.
What are you?
I was leaning towards 3-1.
3-1. You think we concede again?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the point, and kind of like you said, they have pace and they have talent, and we're good at giving up a goal. So I think it's going to be something like 3-1.
3-1. All right. Well, guys, the lineups are in, our predictions are in, and the teams are warming up. We are 20 minutes away from kickoff, and so we're going to join everybody else. Doug is going to the fan club. I'll be watching from right here inside my casa. We are looking forward to this being one of many podcasts that we'll do together. For those who joined, thank you. For those who sent in comments, thank you. For those who thumbed up the videos and watched on YouTube or Facebook, thank you guys for joining us again. Happy New Year. We love you guys. We love United. Just keep joining us, and let's keep doing this throughout 2021. and let's hope for a good game today. I think we're gonna win. All right, guys, be safe. See you next week. Hopefully, we'll have more to talk about, and hopefully, we'll be a little more organized. We want more of you guys to come into the program as well. All right, see you guys, and let's have a good game ahead. Ciao.